This is the redesigned 2020 Versa sedan. It is the lowest priced model Nissan offers in America, and in this review I'll perform some real-world testing, putting the car through its paces to see just how good it is, or isn't. No, the Versa is not terribly exciting, but it is a no-nonsense vehicle that real people can actually afford. I mean, the base price, including delivery, is just 15 grand and change. The mid-range example tested here checked out for less than $19,000. Heck, most people probably spend more than that on App Store downloads every year. What the Versa lacks in fun, it makes up for in value. The standard equipment list is longer than a receipt from CVS. Even base models come with air conditioning, Bluetooth, 3 USB ports, and a 7-inch color infotainment display. Power windows and locks, push-button start, cruise control, and even Nissan's Easy Fill tire alert system are all included at no extra charge. Factor in the Versa's spacious and reasonably well-trimmed cabin, plus its strong fuel economy, and you end up with a car that's surprisingly agreeable, unlike other bottom-feeding models that seem to constantly remind you of all the mistakes you've made in life. Speaking of rivals, the Versa here competes with other small cars like the Toyota Yaris and Hyundai Accent. Of course, it's also a rival to many good used vehicles because of the affordable pricing. But if you want something with a warranty that's factory fresh that, I don't know, a stranger's dog hasn't thrown up in, well, this is a good option. Keeping things simple, just 3 trim levels are offered. There's S, SV, and SR. And aside from a couple premium paint colors, the only real option available on this car is the $300 convenience package, which is only offered on SR models. And that, of course, gets you intelligent cruise control and heated front seats. The 2020 Versa sedan is all new, and it's slightly larger than the previous generation. It's about 1.6 inches longer and 1.8 inches wider. Now, the overall height has been reduced by up to 2.3 inches, depending on model. Nestled behind that V-Motion grille is a Gen 3 1.6-liter 4-cylinder, the sole engine offered. It's a real Spitfire too, rated at 122 horsepower and 114 pound-feet of torque. It can be paired with a 5-speed manual transmission in the base S model, though a continuously variable automatic is standard on SV and SR trims. It features D-step logic, which simulates gear changes for less engine droning. Grab a Versa with 3 pedals and you should get 27 miles per gallon city, 35 highway, and 30 combined. The CVT makes this car much more efficient, delivering 32, 40, and 35, respectively. But now let's move to the rear of the car. I've been trying to do a lot more real-world testing to make my comparisons and reviews more valuable for you, the viewer. And I wanted to come up with a way of sort of measuring how versatile a vehicle's cargo space is, so I'm not merely regurgitating a figure for how much volume it supposedly has, though in this case you do get 14.3 cubic feet of space. So what I did is I went out and got a bunch of cardboard boxes and stuffed as many of them into the car as I could. Now, would you believe the Versa can actually hold this many of them? Well, you shouldn't, because it can actually accommodate all of these. No, this test does not fill every cubic centimeter of volume, but it does give a good idea of how useful this space is. And for reference, these corrugated bins measure 12 by 12 by 16 inches. I was able to fit 6 of them in the Versa's trunk without crushing or mangling any, though with the backrests folded down, 11 more of them go in, making for a total of 17. Just don't expect any rearward visibility. You'll be driving Okie style, a la the Grapes of Wrath. An added bonus, this opening is huge, measuring about 36 inches wide by 17 tall. Now, the liftover height is also quite low at roughly 26 inches. The Versa's, well, versatility is remarkable, but perhaps its greatest achievement is that nothing in its interior is scandalously cheap. If you remember back to the previous version of this car, it kind of felt like a paper plate. You'd use it once and then just throw it out, but no more. The overall materials quality is perfectly fine, even down low on the door panels and up at the headliner, places where pinched pennies are easy to spot. Yes, there's still plenty of hard plastic, and the doors and dashboard are still mostly made of rigid polymer, but at least everything is attractively grained, plus the dash's large swath of stitched vinyl does soften things a bit. Comfort is, regrettably, something of a mixed bag. The driving position, it's not great. The body structure intrudes on foot space, plus the brake and accelerator pedals are far too close, meaning lankier drivers' legs are going to be splayed at an awkward angle, which is not good. Also, why does the seat have this weird armrest on it? Were Nissan designers inspired by some old conversion van? Just give me a center console with a nice padded lid on it like practically every other car has, including that new Plymouth Breeze I've been hearing great things about. In the back, you'll find elevated theater-style seating that gives passengers a great view of the road ahead. There's also plenty of leg and head room, though a center armrest is absent. Hey, you've got to cut corners in some places to keep prices low. The standard mechanically operated climate controls are a bit stiff to use, but at least the infotainment system is colorful and straightforward. Pushing the envelope, Nissan Safety Shield 360 is standard on SV and SR models, and it includes various fancy features like automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection, reverse automatic braking, automatic high beams, blind spot monitoring, rear cross traffic alert, and lane keeping assist. Now, these are features you cannot get on some used cars, even if they're just a couple years old. There's a lot to like about the Versa, but its downsides do become apparent once you start driving. I mean, this car is just not very exciting, but what can you expect for the price? Acceleration is adequate, the small four-banger is always churning away, and a slight whining sound is emitted by the drivetrain at certain times, and I think it's probably coming from the CVT. As for 0 to 60, we clock this thing at an entirely adequate, though hardly fire-breathing 10.7 seconds, and that is the average of a number of different runs. And hey, if you like this particular vehicle review, I gotta ask you, please subscribe to the AutoGuide.com YouTube channel for more great content like this. Steering is hands down this vehicle's biggest dynamic weakness. It's just dead. It's as lifeless as the surface of Mars. Now, the wheel does give you sort of a rough approximation of where you're going, but that's about it. This driving position may be way off, but the Versa's refinement is remarkable. The interior is almost spookily quiet for a car in this segment. Seriously, it's almost like a library inside an anechoic chamber in an underground bunker. Ride quality is pretty supple, courtesy of McPherson struts up front and a torsion beam at the rear. Pretty standard stuff. Now, that twist axle is fine, exhibiting no real noticeable downsides. Occasionally, with suspensions of this design, you'll get sort of a shimmying over bumps, but the Versa seems to remain planted at all times. As you've seen, the 2020 Nissan Versa sedan is a mostly likable small car. Really, its pluses do outweigh the handful of downsides, but let's recap. Upsides are numerous and include available driver assistance technology, a hushed interior, value pricing, fuel efficiency, and cabin roominess. But a couple things do detract from the overall package. Versa's Novocaine injected dynamics, uncomfortable driving position, and generic styling do leave something to be desired. Still, this example here checked out for just $18,745, including $895 in delivery fees, making it an absolute bargain in today's world, where the average new vehicle transaction price is estimated by some to be $37 grand. So if you don't want to go the used car route and you don't need anything fancy, you should check out the Nissan Versa. You just might like it. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe to the AutoGuide.com YouTube channel to get all of our latest features and vehicle reviews.